I wanted a trellis for this round raised garden bed, and yes, I could have just purchased a half circle from the vendor, but no, I wanted to build it myself. So I got to work measuring, marking, and cutting, and trying to figure out how I was going to bend a circle. And I tried more times than I would like to admit. My besties even came to help.
Hey, Mom!
I had no idea it was going to be so tough.
Hi, everyone. I'm Michelle, and welcome back to my meadow. I'm gardening in Zone 9A in Northeast Florida. I'm not an expert gardener, but I love showing you the good, the bad, and the ugly, and embracing the imperfection that learning to garden has to offer. This video is made possible by Tinktube. Just as I started drawing out my plans for the trellis and trying to figure it out, I received an email from Tinktube wanting to know if I would be interested in trying out their products. They didn't even know that I was working on this little weird design. And they have all these cool parts, so I'll be able to connect the two circles together with this and then put it on top of the post, and you'll see more of that as we keep going. But literally, if you can imagine it, I think that they have a part to help you connect their tubes or to connect to EMTs or electrical metal tubing that you can pick up at your local hardware store. They actually shipped a lot of tubing to me. It came very quickly, and I liked that I didn't have to fuss with it at the store. I highly recommend you check them out. I'll be sure to include a link down below, and there's even a special code if you want to make a purchase. Just use the code Meadow to save on your order.
I'll be sure to include all the parts used in the description below and even more detailed plans on my website at michelleandthemeadow.com. I started by installing the Tinktube uprights using the flat clamp black connector. I attached it to the second hole of the garden bed. I pressed the post down into the ground, and I did not feel like it was necessary to attach at more than one point. Now that the uprights are in place, I may have a little adjustment to do. It's time to get on with the hard part, bending the tubing.
I have tried many different ways to make this work. I've built several of my own shapes, and I just haven't been able to get the bend that I want in the pipes to look the way that I want it to look. But I think I finally have a solution. This is a hoop bender from Bootstrap Farmer, and it will make a 4-foot arc kind of hoop, but I am betting that I can use this and put two pieces of pipe together to make myself a 4-foot circle to finish off the trellis for my Asian wing bean garden bed. I already have these slots down in between the tables, so I'm going to try to take advantage of that instead of trying to drill through the table itself. Let's see if that'll work. Just as a try, I have these wrenches left over for some birdie beds. And so I'm going to use them like a giant washer to sort of level it off as it goes through. Now this is secured in. I really like being able to gap and have like a semi-washer across the gap here. This is really sturdy. Underneath, I've done the same thing. Over there and over there.
The Tinktube is a little bit larger than EMT and would not work with the hoop bender, so I picked up a couple of pieces of EMT to finish this project off.
I've pushed the first part of the pipe through the opening, and then I will bend and pull it around this arc. Based on my calculations using the arc calculator, which I will link to in the description, I need an arc of about 75 inches. And I know that I want my diameter to be 48 inches, so let's measure and see how far we got. That, my friends, is a thing of beauty right there. One piece is not long enough to make the whole circle, so I'm going to bend my second piece. I almost want to cry as to how satisfying this is. You have no idea how many hours and hours and hours I have spent trying to figure out how to do this. And with some encouragement from friends and approval from Mrs. Michelle to buy the hoop bender, it worked. Holy moly. I wish I'd done that in the first place 3 months ago when I started trying to figure this out.
Next, I measured out my arc lengths and took a pipe cutter and cut the pipes to size.
As Steve Irwin would say, ain't she a beauty? Look at this circle. After all these other tries, I finally have a circle. Now I just need to put all the connectors on it and get it up on top of the trellis.
The Tinktube connectors were not designed to fit on curved surfaces, but that's okay. It includes a hole for a self-tapping screw, so using a 4-way cross connector and EMT adapters, I put the two sides of the arc together and then made sure they were secure by using the self-tapping screws, also available from Tinktube. And I used a piece of scrap Tinktube to keep my spacing right while I assembled the two parts together. Now you might be thinking, I just made a 48-inch circle for a 42-inch bed, but after I figure out how to get it up there, you'll see how this is going to turn out. But first, I need to get a little help. A shout out to my helper who did not want to appear on camera, but with that help, I was able to get the 4-way connector onto the two side posts, and next it's time to attach the other post. But first, I got to get rid of the temporary trellis string here because it is keeping me from stretching the post out. I'm attaching the other 4 points with a T connector from Tinktube. It's worth noting that I did not use those EMT adapters with the T connectors. They would have fit, but it felt fine for me without it.
I am so freaking proud right this second. I know.
This may not seem like much to you, but I wanted this round trellis to go with my round garden bed. And it took a while to figure out how I was going to make it happen, but now I have it. I did it, and while it may be an imperfect round trellis, I am perfectly proud that I was able to do it myself with lots of help and encouragement from my best friends and from Mrs. Michelle and the great folks at Tinktube.
Well, there's only one thing left to do, and that is to get some trellis netting up onto the round trellis so the beans can climb and crawl their way up. I chose this jute trellis netting I found on Amazon. It's got big diamond shapes in it. We're gonna hang it off of the top round part of the trellis and let's see how it grows. Well, here we have it. We've got the trellis on the trellis. This netting's going to work well. I'll have to learn a little bit more about how to hang this up from the round. Probably would have been easier if I'd had a little help stretching it out, but whatever. I'm so excited that it's done. I would love to know what you think down in the comments. Any questions that you have. Again, a huge shout out to the folks at Tinktube. If you want to check out their website and all the ways that you could build cool stuff for your garden, just head to michellinthemeadow.com/Tinktube and be sure to use my code MEADOW to save on that order too. If you like this content and you want to stay up to date with what's happening with the Asian wing beans and the other things that are growing on here in the garden, be sure to check out this video right over here. And until next time, my friends, remember to drink plenty of water, wear that high quality sunscreen, and as always, have a fantastic day.